What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the second album by Canadian hard rock band Default. Basically, this particular product is called Elocation, and it came out in the fall of 2003. So this is a request here by the Big Brain on Music as far as these pitches. I have an excellent type pitch getting towards this within these particular pitches amongst this, and I've now reviewed within these pitches within these pitches of commencing with this here is with an aspect I reviewed the 2001, 2003, and 2005 albums by Default pitch like that. So they only have like a couple more within these pitches. Really throughout the 2000s, I figured the last one would be the 2009 one pitch like that, and then there's the 2018 EP that they did as like a brief kind of touch base pitch like that. So it's within these ordeals, part of saying. Now, within the comparison to these type pitches, it's dope within these aspects that Nickelback's Chad Kroeger continued to produce these particular albums, good pitches like that. But I do feel like it feels less hands-on within those aspects. Now, it's not to say within those pitches that like the full-bound type tone, but seemingly Chad Kroeger didn't write as many songs, but it's also in the pitch that the aspect that Chad Kroeger was on a particular kind of sweet spot and prolific kind of high with 2001 when he was putting out Silver Side Up pitch like that. And it's not to say within those figures, but it's this kind of pitch. This is a less commercial kind of Default type album. It's still going to get a 10 out of 10 with these pitches, very banging typeness, but the chart appeal is just not as high as Full Bound this time compared to like songs like Deny and Wasting My Time, songs that pitch that were routine kind of staples in adult kind of contemporary rock radio pitch like that. So it's kind of fair as far as saying that one had at least a couple top 2 singles in like the U.S. main charts in adult, couple top 10 singles on the U.S. main, and a third top 30 approximate single in Live Alive pitch like that, and then even a 4th single that was kind of that was promoted pitches like that. Is within the fair. Even in Canada, where this particular band was from, it was for strange enough reasons that this particular album just didn't have as much flair within the pitch. Probably the question there that had to do towards this is the pitch, that the composition about this album is a lot more loosened within these pitches, just kind of fair. It has a lot more kind of acceptance and just kind of fair, just more at ease type fair. So it's just kind of complex that it just does not have like a couple of things about the Fallout from 2001 was just the pitch that it very much was like an adult contemporary type variation of like the way Nickelback kind of was in 2001 with Silver Side Up. So that's a pitch. So this kind of aspect. Songs like Wasting My Time were great late summer and kind of just the fall aspects of like good fall bound type aspects within the pitch of the particular variety amongst like this the dredge type factor of post grunge typeness within that popularity pitch like that. But it's just kind of fair that was kind of an adult contemporary type sense. At least the 1-2 punch of Wasting My Time and Deny were good banging type duo pitches like that. But it's just kind of fair as far as saying that some of these type ones, the aspect, but then the composition about that album was just the pitch as far as saying that it just had like the homestead typeness. That was a real homestead type album within pitch, just grazing aspects when you think of songs by Three Doors Down like Be Like That in particular. Songs by Three Doors Down like Be Like That, Nickelback, or Puddle of Mud with songs like Blurry and some of those type ones, some of those type pitches that just have more kind of endear about them within those type pitches. Just kind of, I feel like the rote type factor of that particular snap, more or less, whether or not it had to do with Chad Kroeger having like an extra kind of bona fide type sweet spot within those pitches, as far as like the variety of just having like some extra kind of songs to spare within those pitches. It just felt like the variety amongst it this time was just not. This album definitely has the hits on here. It's just kind of the display as far as saying that the recognition behind some of these type ones that just had more freedom, that the factor of some of these type ones just didn't seemingly have as much snap. It was just kind of, I feel like the Gulag kind of break free was refreshing in like the fall of 2001 pitches like that, but it was just kind of the fair, the mode of like that particular fair, just like the aspect, the mentality's kind of changed with this particular album within Sense to Pitch. Now it has very much the same aesthetic. This very much is Default pitch like that, but it's just kind of fair. It just doesn't have as much. Not to say so much it was angst within these pitches, but it's just kind of fair, just like that particular aspect, like the gripe type factor of just like familiarity with like the booming typeness that went along with albums like Silver Side Up and albums by Soil, the band Soil, and since the pitches Puddle of Mud, just that particular breakout type fair that post grunge was pretty red hot and lightning in a bottle around that particular time was kind of pitches that started to simmer within certain. Now Nickelback was still at a high within those pitches in 2003 pitch like that, but it's just kind of fair as far as the songwriting snap just didn't have like the same kind of like particular earworm kind of addictiveness this time within these pitches. Now it's not to say it's not a good album, it's just kind of pitch as far as saying, I don't know if that just had to do with the factoid that Chad Kroeger didn't write as many songs on here, or if it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying just the aspect that this is kind of fair. When I think of some of these type ones, like Taking My Life Away is a good nice one within these pitches, but it's kind of fair about that particular one within these phrases as far as saying like the diligence of like the first album is just not as full bound. It's kind of pitch where it just doesn't have like the aspect of like the particular kind of fastidious typeness, and just the aspect It's not as fastidious, not as arduous, something stuff here. So this has the loosened type action. It's not just like that's the problem with these pitches. It's just kind of variety as far as saying it feels mildly within the marketing to like the Ferris, like the way that adult contemporary, they were kind of like a pretty good songbird for like the pitches of adult contemporary kind of being like a good choice and select for like the pitch of having like the adult contemporary type aspects within those pitches as far as having like routine type ones that probably could have happened. I would have definitely said they would have seemed like some pretty de facto type staples when you think of other type folks beyond like John Mayer and Nickelback on the right day and Three Doors Down on the right day. There were some of those type pitches, but the songwriting type fare, not to say it didn't come through as much, but it just didn't have as much kind of, it's not to say distinction, but it's kind of more staying power. It's this kind of pitch, just paying attention towards it, just from the aspect as far as like the Pharaohs. It's kind of the songs were just not as aggressive pitches like that. The mentality's kind of changed in some of these type pitches with the aspect. When you think of songs like particular Deny and like Wasting My Time, songs that pitch just kind of had the aspect of this kind of more drive type act and this kind of pitch of like ardent kind of aspects. So it's just kind of fair. Some of these type products, just kind of the tone, station within the homestead type activity pitch like that. The home is set up, the bills paid, some of the stuff fair within the pitch. The gripe factor is just not as gripey within these pitch as far as like the fair. It just had a good juggling within the previous type album of just like personable type fair, business type fair pitch like that. Some of the stuff price amidst like the product of this daily composition and fairs like that within the aspect and just not having a lot of free time. This particular one has more free time within these pitches, this kind of aspects as far as saying there's more room for like particular activity. Now within the pitch of when I talked about the previous type one within these aspects as far as saying that there was kind of mild amounts of smoke type product on here, this particular one has more room for like smoke type fashions kind of within the pitch where it's kind of, it's less diligent and has more room for recreation, so stuff fares, and that may, like, I don't think that's the full bound type reason as to why this particular album didn't have as much staying power, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying it's the product of just paying attention like the variety. This is the fair that this particular album has more free bass and pitch like this. This is the hit type appeal, so this is less kind of full bound within the adult contemporary and it's kind of the factor of being like an adult contemporary type band. It's not, I just would think it seems like it seemed like maybe there was like some backtracking on like the adult contemporary kind of being like within that marketplace as far as the pitch. Not to say full bound within those pitch, but it just kind of didn't have as much like within strong type aspects within the tones of trying to pick up kind of hooky type stables. It's kind of within pitch. I don't know if it was specifically like Chad Kroeger, for example, that just didn't have like these extra type songs. Right? I mean, I probably, it's within the realization that they probably couldn't have relied on him like entirely just to kind of write all their songs pitched like that. But it's this kind of variety. It just felt like the aspect of like the pivot that kind of went along with some of those type of things within the pitch was just not as, didn't have the same ambition pitch like that, but some hit type appeal. So 3 singles off this album pitch like that. It is a good album with things pitch. Just say 10 out of 10 album pitch like that. Now, really only a couple of these charted on like the U.S. main charts pitches like that, but really this was not that popular an album on like the U.S. like the U.S. kind of adult contemporary chart like the previous album pitches like that. So some of these type of appeals was kind of pitch as far as saying it felt more quiet as kept pitches like that. But Taking My Life Away is a hit type appeal. It's like a quality sun gaze and more loosened, kind of activer, kind of Arby's fairs like that. Since the pitches within it, the station kind of homestead. It's kind of fair as far as saying less rebuke about the particular songs. Some of those type pitches is kind of at not as much angst and kind of like jostle within these pitches compared to like Wasting My Time and Deny songs that ones. It's kind of pitched, even though those were more steadfast type songs within pitch from 2001, it's kind of pitched as far as saying this has like the tone of this kind of being more of a chill type album within pitch like that, getting more routine kind of Arby's in your system. Songs that pitch is just kind of station type homestead where it's not within the degree of having to paint a fence every single day or figure out some fairs of what needs to be done. Deck type fair, backyard type fair, fairs like that, sense of pitch amongst the variety of hammering nails or just taking care of bush trimming, some of stuff. Just extra pitches like that, picking up branches, standard lawn care, and some of these stuff aspects when the tone as far as this pitch out. It's just kind of with an aspect this kind of the fair where it's not as much consistent kind of home tidiness pitch like that, but still the fair as far as saying this the standard report twos, but this more used to like the product of it. This doesn't have the this less kind of attentiveness to homestead kind of pastime pitch like that. But still some good type board deals. Just Arby's in your system, Sons to Fairs is kind of a basic kind of commerce type one for just like the 4 o'clock p.m. kind of dredge. Just real mellow type one pitch like that. Good breezy kind of crest along sense of pitches. Throw It All Away is a good nice second single within these pitches as well. It's like a good rendezvous at like a Taco Bell kind of parking lot. Sense of Fairs amongst it. Just ketchup. So with some good catch-ups with your pals, pitches like that. Just have like some souvenirs and stuff aspects. So it's kind of tone of just exchanging gifts and stuff products for folks that you may not have seen in like 8 months or 15 months and stuff ordeals. This pitches where it's just not as commonplace. It's kind of like a pit stop, more or less kind of briefer type pit stop for like some music type fair. So this kind of composition like a random kind of Tuesday rendezvous since the pitches folks that from this particular point in March of 2026. Maybe you haven't seen them since like December 2024. Maybe you haven't seen them since December 2024, September 2024, amongst its own stuff, but just pitch like that, since it type fields, aspects like that, good, nice, fair, just kind of, these are some of these type ones within pitch. This is the composition behind these fairs, as far as saying just the product of this kind of more free base and pitch like that, some good, nice ordeals. These particular ones were not as present within those fairs, just a little bit more steadfast in composition on the Fallout album from 2001, but good, nice pitch for like some free base pitch like that within. I mean, it still is kind of more kempt within the aspects, as far as saying that it's just kind of a run. It's not like a full-bound sesh of bust out the bongs and pitch like that, really get shit based on stuff ordeals, but just a brief kind of just have like nachos and like a parking lot and stuff ordeals, catch ups, couple memes, pitch like that, exchange like a DVD or some sort of souvenir pitch like that, and then just get towards the product of just heading out. It's good, nice pitches, but good aspects for those pitches gonna happen. Good, nice appeals. All She Wrote's the third single, good pitch like that. It's like a nice home stretch and sun period to kind of get with things products here. Just affable, kind of acoustic, kind of post-grunge type dredge, so nice to pitch, just some wind down. So just within this aspect, this is kind of within that type variety of like tunes from like the late 90s with like Marcy Playground and Third Eye Blind, since the pitch amongst this kind of products, as far as saying to some of these type ones. This is one of these particular like Sherry Frazier and pitches like that, some type tones, but it's kind of aspect as far as these are the sorts of ones that probably would have been on like the Fallout pitch like that, but this is just a lot more just settle in as far as these pitch can happen. Pleasant kind of leftover utility type run. It's kind of within pitch. It's just factory kind of hit, kind of post grunge within these pitches. Just the wind down type fair within the aspects as far as those products will kind of happen. Like the wind down type fair as far as those products will kind of happen. Just to miss the pitch of like particular. Just amongst like the pitch, like the wind down type fair as far as this pitch can happen, this routine kind of leftover type errands, some of the pitches just amongst the picking up like deli meat and some of the fairs, the accent type pitch, just kind of the variety of this wrap up, some of the pitch, just kind of pleasant type jaunt pitch like that, but just kind of within more coasting type mode. So some of these type pitches, say within these aspects, 10 out of 10 albums. So I'm going to talk about one of these. I'm going to talk about one of these off here, off of like the particular Fallout album from 2001, which is Let You Down acoustic. It's like a good retread and gathered kind of sun period to get towards here, pitch like that. Just reflect an outdoor kind of stew, I'd say. It's kind of some slow dying, so it's kind of pitch for us saying just kind of we're almost the aspect where the food would be getting cold to just pitch like that. It's kind of variety, just like this consistent kind of recollection and pitches like that as far as these first kind of happen. Just kind of within a porch type fair and just outdoor type stewing and pitch like that. It's kind of fair just within the product of. This kind of feels like a country type song within pitch like that. Some stuff rise to just real grazing type aspects within the tone, but just more station about within some of those type pitches. This good nice pair of like leftover type vibes from 2001. This good nice acoustic flip towards the pitch like that. Moving on as a hitting type one. This is a good nice one to beeline for in these type pitches. This is a good affable one. It's one of my more favorite type ones pitched like that. It's the hit type feels like a woozy kind of Creed and Stain like kind of sun gaze syrup to get towards here pitch like that. Smoke a bowl. I definitely say some stuff pitches here to support. This would definitely be like a porch kind of wasting my time type song pitch like that. The hit default number one type tune pitch like that, wasting my time. Porch kind of wasting my time. Some stuff here is just kind of some slog get towards those aspects. So kind of the aspect of those same sorts of vibes within those pitches, like wasting my time, but this kind of aspect as far as saying just not quite as amidst like the commerce and quite the dredge type factor, like the usual kind of complex. So it's just some of these type pivots within the album aspect within these pairs. Is the composition behind some of these type moments. It just kind of has the pitch of that same sort of mentality from like songs like Denying, Wasting My Time. It's this kind of pitch of this, not quite as much within the grafted type mode of having to be full bound productive and work up a sweat every single time within these pitches. For us, the format's going to happen is getting towards the like, yeah, you know, I've got some time within these pitches, don't have to actively be doing some sort of chore activity within these pairs, just have to constantly be in motion, smoke a bowl a little bit, have some extra thoughts within these pairs. It's kind of meme dive, some of these type pitches amongst the standard type pairs, just like the product kind of within those aspects, good pitch like that. So it's kind of the aspect, but definitely in like a particular kind of woozy, just Creed and just like aspects of alt metal type fair pitch like that, definitely like Stained and Puddle of Mud, but just not like Puddle of Mud, but just not quite as like Puddle of Mud, but just not quite as much amidst the dredge as far as the space but just good nice pitch for more homebound typeness with that, good pitches. Who Followed Who is a hit type one as well, as like a rock solid kind of amidst Saturday and Lunch Rush kind of shine to get towards pitches like that, just like Puddle of Mud's control. I'd say some of that good bass guitar type Some of that good bass guitar kind of foot tap type groove pitch like that. Just an overall hot type 1. And just good, nice summertime type bubbler pitch like that. Some of those hit type appeals definitely with an aspect, just good, nice Saturday type bop pitch like that. So some of these type ones just have more aspect of free bass pitch like that. So it's kind of fair, probably within relative type prog, just maybe just lunch break type song pitch like that. But just kind of varieties for some of those type progs that are just kind of more. It's one that's probably amidst like the fray of possibly having to get some shit done within those fairs, but just kind of aspect of just out in the whip and fairs like that, or just out in the commerce of it. So it's the pitch of just getting to the product of productive, but just not as composition pitch like that's a hit type appeals. Hit type appeals pitch like that. Cruel is a hitting type 1. Now this is a particular cover song to Cruel is a cover song by Jeff Buckley. As far as he's supposed to have good nice pitches to see default able to do cover songs, good pitch like that. It's like a good throwback to 90s kind of Alice in Chains and Tool, Stone Temple Pilots, some stuff eyes pitch like that. Just kind of some sunny afternoons I'd say here. Just definitely grazing pitch like that. Just Arby's in your system, fairs like that, getting nice and good. Get some good nice barbecue sandwiches pitched like that. Just kind of favor type runs pitched like that. Just gallon mine sense to pitch. Just extra aspects picking up like a Netflix gift card sense to fairs. Just missed like the complex of it. Should take you right back to 1992, 1994 sense of aspects from the ton. Just that traditional type grunge, kind of pseudo grunge, kind of pseudo like the aspect of what Tool kind of was in 1993 and 1996 sense type of deal. So kind of a fusion of like Stone Temple Pilots and Tool sense that pitches with a little bit of Alice in Chains in there. Sense of aspects from the ton, but just definite good sunny afternoons pitched like that. Good combo with like Who Followed Who and some of those type ones, and other type ones like Cross the Lines, just some good nice pitches. So it's definitely an aspect. There is Saturday kind of music on here, and I say within that context as far as saying that the product of this, the way you would have like I mean this is very much still a composition type album within pitch. It's not within the variety of having like there's really not a dance club type song on here, a Friday type song like when you would think of a song like Kryptonite or some of those type fairs. Kryptonite by Three Doors Down. Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, Take a Look Around by Limp Bizkit, some stuff fairs like that, just pitches, some stuff varieties. Make Me Bad by Korn, some stuff pitches, kind of varieties for saying just these hit type aspects from the tone of disc, the composition behind it. It feels like the aspect behind a lot of these, you just get more Saturday type songs and Tuesday afternoon type songs for rendezvous type fair in the pitch of disc, like the aspect of having the free time to be able to juggle like activities along with work shift type fairs. So it's good pitches like that. Another good nice one would be Made to Live pitches like that. It's like a nice factory kind of default to get towards here pitches like that. Just some Sun Licks and Homestead kind of pastime, I'd say. Good pitches amongst these varieties. Deck music, definitely some stuff varieties. Backyard kind of deck music fairs like that. Just pull some weeds, some stuff aspects. Just yard tending pitch like that. Just kind of a fit. A nice yard fit type song, some stuff aspects. So this is like back to like the factory. Made to Lies, just like those particular aspects of this familiar kind of default from like the 2001 type days. This pitch like some of that retread type territory pitch like that, some banging type nest. Once again, just the aspect is not. It's kind of within the fair, just not quite being as much within the snap behind us. Just not quite as fastidious within the aspect of like kind of the blistering typeness behind us. Just kind of fair, just more kind of leisure about some of those type fairs amongst us. A pitch like that amongst some of those hit type appeals. Crossing lines of banging type ones, like a bang kind of get some air and get crunk with. Crossing lines of hit type ones, like a bang kind of get some air and get crunk type aspects within pitch like that. Banging type, excellent type nest. Chirp folks definitely get towards here. Sense the products, just feeling some nachos tonight. Sense the fairs and fun, so it's good pitch amongst it. Bowling alley type fair, Wingstop sense the products to just kind of get towards the crunk factor. This is one of these genuine type ones on here within the pitch that doesn't have like some degree of extracurricular type stuff, just kind of juggling within pitch, kind of variety as far as this is just one of those type ones of actually having like a set of spells for like the pitch of getting towards the product, of getting tore up, possibly getting to the aspect of having like some buzz effect. Now there are some porch type smokes on this album, more so than the previous one from 2001. The 2001 one had like the occasional minor type smoke type hits, but this one has more smoke type here in the porch type aspect. This is a genuine type one, or you might have like a pitcher and a half of beer or something like that with these aspects. It's kind of prior to just like, yep, it's time to. Some extra type fairs it's about to go down since the pitch is good products like that. Some divas about to show since the pitch is just going to be chat and fairs like that. Good nice pitches. Without You is a hit type one as well as like a dope stock kind of post grunge kind of porch ruminate and local R&D to get towards your pitch like that. Just some pleasant commerces. So this is kind of fair target type runs, basic type ones within these aspects. Just kind of the product, just some of those type tones when you think of like the commerce type ones. This the aspects behind this particular fair in terms of like R&D and some of type pitches when it's not kind of an after work shift type mode. This is just one of those type ones for this like. These are just some weekday, everyday type fairs. These are the sorts of ones that Nickelback kind of pumps out on the regular pitch like that. Just kind of feels like, not to say generic in terms of derogatory, but just feels like a de facto This feels like a factory kind of Nickelback type song out of like the early 2000s pitch like that. This Target Run type music, just from the fray of just like, yeah, I gotta pick up like pick up some napkins from Walmart and pitches like that. So it's hit type feels aspects like that. Picking up like Triscuits and some of these standard type products. Picking up like an Almond Joy for a gallon mine. So it's the pitch with an aspect like in the neighborhood type composition pitch like that. So it's hit type feels the aspects for us saying those particular aspects amongst it. This good nice pairs. This weekday type pitches like that. This great 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m. tightness. Some type aspects. This routine kind of default Nickelback. Some type folks puddle of mud pitches like that. Breakdown doors, the hitting type one as well. It's like a good combo with crossing line, I'd say here. Just to spell free base and step products amongst it. Just supply runs and come through as far as these first games. So just to miss the pitch. This one, not quite as much. Like it's free base on here, but it's this kind of pitch as far as saying. It's not so much amidst like the makeshift is full bound, but it's this kind of pitch of just like the leftover type, personal type utilities that gotta be taken care of, pitch like that. Sunset fares amongst the product, just kind of standard within the aspect of this maybe transit type fares of picking up like a bottle of Bacardi, sunset pitch amongst it, just kind of come through for a gal, sunset pitch, just kind of missed the fray of. Particular gal needs an extra sort of a Campbell soup or a hamburger helper as far as those fares go. So action type pitch is getting towards some of that type fare, but it's kind of pitch, come through type variety, supply runs is picking up Bacardi, good cheap bot. McCormick vodka, some of these that pitch amongst a good nice price within the aspect. It's kind of a spell of just kind of out in this appreciating like some gas wasting and joyriding as far as these first kind of. It's not to say gas waste in terms of the pitch of just being frivolously stupid, but it's kind of probably just out in the fray. Enough is the hitting type ones, like a great sound off and gulag embrace to get from like the usual BS or reports as far as these pairs can happen. It'd be BS if like the personal gripe from like the Fallout type days, or there's just leftover type aspects that are just like screwed day and sometimes the pitches, or it's just reports if you're just in a relative dredge type mode, but you're appreciating it. Fares like this, so this kind of product, whether or not you're looking at the glass half full or half empty. Whether or not you're looking at the glass half full or half empty pitch like that when it comes to like the report twos pitch like that sunset type feels, but this kind of a matrixy type song within these pitches kind of feels like stuck within the fashion of like the particular, just used to like the routine and some of these affairs, but just kind of glad with these pitches. Yeah, it's definitely feels definitely like a boxed in and kind of matrixy. Definitely feels like a boxed in and kind of matrixy type song pitch like that, but kind of glad within these pitch, not in like a horror type sense of a mode pitch like that. Just good, nice, fair to smoke in the whip or just out in the fray since that pitch amongst it. Differential from the usual type tone of like the more kind of just felt trapped. Differential from the 2001 type tone that just felt more trapped and kind of caged in as far as those first guys within the pitch, just like the gulag and the BS type fact, just kind of the pitch of this. The aspect of some enjoyment type factor and getting towards the product of just getting like some great sweets in your system, first like that, just some good smokish type factor within sense that pitches aspects like that. Alone is the hitting type one. This is differential from a good portion of the album pitch like this, and good nice pairs to get towards here is like a contemplative and disarrayed kind of wander to get towards here within these products. Just some commerce paranoia, I'd say, in question as far as these pairs going to go. Just kind of a rock Eminem typeness within these pitches. So it's kind of variety. Why Eminem would have some of these type of songs like Mockingbird and like Way I Am and pitch like that, sense of ones like that. White America in particular, like Kim and some of these type of songs pitched like that. Cleaning out my closet, some of these type of areas kind of pitch as far as saying it's kind of the product of this, the questionnaire. It's kind of the product of like the questionnaire as far as these pairs can have. So just kind of pitch. Good, nice, brooding type one within this aspect, kind of almost not so much full bound in an emo type flip, but kind of within the relative kind of neighboring type community of it, pitch like this. So it's just some good, nice appeals. Kind of this is differential from any song that they did up to this point within these pitches as far as the pairs can happen. So this kind of aspect like some leftover type pairs. This kind of feels like a sing-songy kind of rap song within these pitches. So it's excellent type products for some of these type pitches kind of happen with it. Just kind of some kind of homebound kind of brooding with an aspect of like pull your hair out type vibes in a figure of speech type context pitch like that. It's not as if it's really like in a horror type mode, just kind of where it's just like where it's driving you batshit crazy, but just kind of very just like a ruffled set of wild. It's kind of a ruffled set of wilds pitch like that. Sense of fair. So it's kind of product, just good, nice brooding typeness within products as far as what's supposed to happen. Nice extra sheen to this album as far as these pairs can have. So excellent type pitch within this album type fair. So 10 out of 10 album pitch like that. Social score is going to go ahead and get. Now within the varieties, I'd probably maybe possibly say like a 9.75 out of 10. But the pitch behind it's not like the quality isn't on here. It's just kind of pitch as far as saying the aspect, the quality amongst this album is kind of within pitch as far as saying there are more ones out this album compared to like the Fallout from 2001, but it's just less recognition. So it's a snafu within those pitches as far as saying the 2001 one had more popular songs within those pitches, but it was overall less so social because it just didn't have as much step out type songs and more kind of within the aspect of free bass. It's kind of pitch. This one has more free bass, but it's just not as casually popular. That's kind of ironic within those pitches. But just as far as I'm gonna go ahead and give the social score a 10 out of 10 because these pitches, some of these type ones like the rendezvous song at like a Taco Bell parking lot, like throw it all away is a hitting type one. Just some connect with pals, get some souvenirs pitch like that. Just kind of standard dap. Some memes pitch like that. Some of these type of varieties songs like Cruel or like some hit songs like Cruel and Crossing the Line and Break Down Doors with some great kind of Saturday type music going out for like some bowling alleys and nachos and wing stops, fairs like that. Get some crunk vectors, some pitchers of beer. There's like some ones on here, some Homestead kind of ones like the Fallout from 2001, like Made to Lie and All She Wrote, some type pitches amongst it. Some homebound type ones kind of smoke a bowl too, like Moving On, a little bit of Alone in there, the Eminem type song within those pitches. That one's a little bit disarray, but still a good nice pitch for like this brooding fairs like that. Another nice one to smoke a bowl to within those concepts. A little bit more station and as stony within those pitches, but Let You Down acoustic kind of has some of those type varieties as well. Some erranding type songs, Walmart type runs, Target runs on top of that pitch like that, some type appeals. And just overall like the fair within these pitches, like some Matrixy type songs on top of that, like Enough with some type pitch that just have a differential type tone compared to like the fair, just more gripe factors from 2001, despite the fact that was more kind of steadfast in composition within more meticulous kind of bustle pitch like this. And hit type appeals, so I'm gonna say 10 social. So more free bass out the sound, but just less casual within these pitches. So that's kind of the conduct as to how that particular variety kind of has. Was this pitch like that? I think minorly what might have had to do with this is the pitch that Chad Kroeger was not going to be able to write every last song that they did within pitch like that. It's not to say that he was like the main reason, was this kind of pitch that particular variety. It's just the aspect that the connect was just differential. It's kind of pitch they had like more luxury, but it's this kind of pitch that the snap just didn't click as full bound with like the adult contemporary charts like they previously did pitch like that. But it's not as if they didn't have the hits. Just the aspects for saying this was kind of this just didn't feel like the alignment was there for like their market that they had within the previous type fashions pitch like that. But some hit type ordeals pitch like that. So in terms of the future aspects like that, Default has not dropped an album since the late 2000s pitch like that, apart from a 2018 EP, and even that's starting to be approximately 10 years ago. So some pitches. So it's the price for us saying that's the only couple of projects they still have left to get to towards the 2009 one, the 2018 one pitch like that. That those will happen down the road within those pitches. Then you can check out the Default playlist with all of these particular reviews in a good pitch like that. Now, one of which I have not done since 2016, first like that, but still, yeah, some classic type stuff pitch like that. So I would fuck with the playlist and stuff pitches. Stay tuned for some of these eventual type reviews with these pitches as far as these pitches gonna happen. This is a good staple and definitely worthy type follow-up to the hit album, The Fallout, as far as this pitch can happen.